Welcome back everybody to the Misfits F1 League as we are here tonight for round 4 of season 1 here for this 12 round season, and we're here tonight at Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix as we've got Badman here lining up on pole position, having set a blisteringly quick lap time in the qualifying session. However, there is a driver who I suspect may be out of position. Only got one lap in at the end of the session. Dazza was 2 seconds off of Badman, but in the Purple Sector F1 League on Thursday night, he really did push Badman all the way, kept him on his toes, and actually those two were pretty close for the duration of that one. So we could well be in with a bit of a fight here tonight. If he's got a similar pace to what we saw on Thursday night, but if not, could well be seeing Badman run away with it. Obviously there's a few drivers between them, but I reckon Dazza might not have shown his full potential in that qualifying session a few moments ago. But Badman on pole by 7 tenths ahead of Sedders, with LFC James a couple of tenths further back. So here we go then, lights are coming on at the head of the grid. And it's lights out, we're underway. Great start from Badman, got away beautifully. And Sedders there looking to the outside into La Source. Badman's going to have that one covered off for the time being. It's the Ferrari there going very deep of Dazza and running off onto the gravel there, going through La Source. And it looks like he's still ahead of John for the time being, but he's lost out to Mighty Hammers as a result of that one. Sedders though is looking to already put the pressure here on Badman, coming up through El Rouge and Radion. Now down the Camel Straight. Badman's got good straight line speed and appears to be putting away quite a bit here down the Camel Straight. Sedders though with the slipstream might get a second win here down towards the end, down towards Lacombe. He doesn't, and Badman holds on to that one as Dazza has moved back ahead of Mighty Hammers there up into 6th place, getting one of the positions back which he gained, which he lost there, going through La Source with his very ambitious late braking move around the outside of La Source. But we can see the battle here going on between the two Red Bulls at the moment of I Constipated and K-Karts. They're a little bit behind the top 3, Badman, Sedders and LFC James, who have just broken away a little bit from these guys. But very clean first lap here so far from the Misfits F1 League, and it's currently Badman who leads coming through Pouin here for the first time. Sedders though keeping him on his toes at the moment. The top 3 all on the soft tyres. I Constipated's gone for the hard tyres. He's going to go long into this first stint. He's got the likes of K-Karts, Dazza and Mighty Hammers here who are going to be putting pressure on him. Obviously with the slower tyres here, I Constipated, he's going to be have a lot more durability, but for these first couple of laps it's going to be a real struggle compared to the rest of the pack, and I'm sure that K-Karts will be itching to get by his teammate as quickly as he can here to avoid any major disruption to his race. As here they come then through Blanchemont once again and down towards the bus stop. K-Karts here looking to the inside of I Constipated, bit too far back there. Always I Constipated there, very deep there going into the bus stop. But K-Kart's not in a position to do too much about it at the moment. Has got no DRS, obviously, because the DRS is not enabled until lap 2. And at the end of lap 1, obviously, you're not on lap 2, are you? I mean that's... I'll just call a spade. But anyway, we got K-Karts here on the back of I Constipated coming up towards El Rouge and Radion here. And is he going to get DRS? Yes, he is indeed. In the meantime, Sedders is all over the back of Badman here, pretty close, 3 tenths, a little bit too far away there, going into Lacombe. But here comes K-Karts on I Constipated into Lacombe, diving up the inside there, and went a bit too ambitious there, and has ended up coming a cropper there on the gravel. Actually, not a cropper, more of a I don't know, a gardener. But K-Karts there losing out to Dazza and Mighty Hammers as a result of that one, down to P7. Tried to make the move with his teammate. His teammate was not playing ball there, despite being on those slower tyres. I Constipated holding his ground there, as now he's got Dazza looking to try and make a move on him potentially. Dazza here coming through Pouin, struggling with a bit of understeer by the looks of it. So it's gone for a bit of a stiff setup. That's going to be helping him down the straight. But through these types of corners, it's certainly going to be not the easiest, that's for sure. Keeping an eye on the times at the top, because Sedders is still keeping Badman very much on his toes right now. Badman is not running off into the sunset with this one, that is absolutely for certain. The early doors here in this race, Dazza trying to apply the pressure on the back of the Red Bull here of I Constipated as they come down to the bus stop once again. Dazza's still just a little bit too far away at the moment, as we've got Badman there with a 1:47.3. So blistering times there from Badman thus far. As we've got Mighty Hammers here, who's got K-Karts looking to the inside there into La Source. A little bit too far away. K-Karts obviously lost 2 positions, trying to gain 1 down the Kemmel Straight on the previous lap when he tried to make that move on his teammate, and he's now trying to regain 1 of the positions on the Haas car here. In the meantime, we've got the leaders here at the front. We've got Sedders just still a little bit too far away on Bad Man at the moment. Bad Man's still holding his ground pretty nicely. He's not under too much pressure at this point. K-Karts has easily got past Mighty Hammers, and Dazza is making a move there on Iconspate. Goes a little bit deep though into Dacoum. He gets it stopped in time, and to be fair, I think he had the move done before he went wide. I don't know, it could be a point of contention, that one maybe. I don't think he's going to get that position back. Obviously the F1 25 game isn't the penalty system isn't sophisticated enough to know when you've made an overtake because you've run wide. Unless you make the overtake whilst you're running wide, it doesn't have the sophistication to understand it. So I don't know if maybe the human stewards of the Misfits F1 League might want to have a look at that one, but nonetheless we continue on our way. So Dazza now up into 4th place ahead of Iconstipated, and K-Karts will get another chance to try and make a move on his teammate, although his teammate will have DRS on the Ferrari of Dazza. And obviously Iconstipated, as this stint goes on, will be improving in relation to these guys around him, because on those hard tyres the tyre wear is going to be considerably less than what we're seeing on the soft tyres. The soft tyres are going to be burnt out after 5 or 6 laps. The hard tyres will be good to go until at least lap 12, 13, 14. But nonetheless, Constipated here is all over the back of the Ferrari here of Dazza as they come down to start finish straight once again. Bit of DRS to get yourself a little bit closer. Realistically, no one's going to be using DRS to make an overtake into turn 1 unless they're on much better tyres. I think the only real purpose of DRS down the main straight is to get you that little bit closer for the real DRS zone, which is coming up in a second here out of Radion, down the Kemmel Straight into Lacombe. So here we go. Iconstipated here with Slipstream and DRS. He's going to get that a little bit closer. He's going to pull to the inside, and he's going to surely make this move here into Lacombe. And there we go. Although Dazza looking to try and keep it around the outside here. Bit of contact there between the two of them. Very, very close racing indeed there. And Iconstipated there inside. Oh no! And he's done the same thing there. And he's been a victim to the same situation that his teammate was on him through the corner before a few laps ago. But this time K-Karts there getting around the outside of Dazza and gets him up into 4th place there, going through No Name. And so Dazza now losing a place, having gained one a few moments ago. Iconstipated there is down to P6 in this race. Mighty Hammers only a second behind him, with John not too far away on those hard tyres. Mighty Hammers has picked up a 3-second time penalty here in the early stage of this race. That is not what he wants at this point. But Bad Man out the front here with almost a second of a gap here over Sedders at the moment. Still holding his ground pretty nicely at this point. But Sedders is keeping him on his toes, I'll tell you that. He's certainly not resting in this one. Shame we didn't have Clen out on track here tonight. It would have been a fascinating race to see how those three would have gone at it against each other. But nonetheless, there they are. And there's LSV James running 3 seconds behind there in 3rd place. We've got Dazza into the pits here at the end of lap 4. So a very early pit stop there for Dazza. As we've got John here closing up onto the back of Mighty Hammers. Obviously, Mighty Hammers started on the softs. John's hard tyres are now going to be starting to get into their prime range here. Sedders still a bit too far back on Bad Man to really put him under any significant pressure at this point. John has made the move easily there on Mighty Hammers. Must have got a fantastic run there through Eau Rouge, and has got himself up into P6 as a result of that one. So that's now the Williams into clean air there ahead of the Haas car, and John can try and close in on the leaders up ahead on the soft tyres. But the top two here still going at it, going through Pouen. This is hopefully going to be a fascinating battle here out the front between these two drivers. Obviously Bad Man had a great battle on Thursday night with Dazza, who is obviously not racing here tonight, or not in the battle for the win, should I say. He's racing, but he's not racing in the fight for the win. as we go through Blanchimont and down towards the bus stop once again. So Sedders will be able to use the DRS in a second to get a little bit closer. Goes deep there through the bus stop. That could have just compromised him a little bit here. He's got a funny old setup as Sedders. Seems like the car's very twitchy and he's having to make a lot of corrections. Here we come then, out of La Source. And the gap only about half a second here as they come up through Eau Rouge and Radion, so Sedders could have a chance. He loses time there through that part of the track, and that's why he hasn't been able to put Bad Man under too much pressure at the end of this straight, because he doesn't get the run up that part of the track at all. He's got good top end, he's got good straight line speed, he's got the car set up for the straights, but the problem is he's got the car so loose through even the high speed corners, even the flat out high speed corners. He's struggling with the rear end, and that's what's making it basically impossible for him to get any sort of run down the Kemmel Straight. So Sedders, I think, maybe with a bit of a short-sighted setup here, it's preventing him from really being able to get close enough to Bad Man through the pivotal parts of the track to actually make a manoeuvre. At the moment, Bad Man is just holding firm. He's just doing what he needs to do. He'll obviously have clocked now that Sedders seems to be struggling through Eau Rouge and Radion, and that's going to only water his confidence even more here. As we see all of the soft runners, barring these two, have been into the pits for their opening pit stops of the race. I wonder if the hard tyres will go to the end from here. I would have thought possibly they might be able to. So do the 2 leaders come into the pits here? Nope, neither of them do. But Sedders very, very close here coming out of the bus stop. Closer than he was on the previous lap by about a tenth. Now, this next sequence here coming up in just a moment is the part of the track where he lost a bit of time here to the leader. This time around he's got a good exit out of La Source. But yeah, you see this is the part. He falls back a little bit, 6/10, and then through this part of the track on the previous lap he was really, really struggling. This time he gets quite a good run there through Eau Rouge, but just a little bit too far away. Now he gets really good top end, and then gets a massive closing speed there going into La Combe, but he's just too far back coming out of Radion to have any chance of even making Bad Man sweat at this point. So Sedders, I think, is going to have to try and play a roll of the dice here. He's got to be thinking surely about the undercut. That to me is realistically the only route that he's got in this race if he wants to have a chance of winning. We're getting to sort of, well, 15 laps from the end, so we're getting to the point now where I think these guys are going to be thinking about putting the hard tyres on. We know Bad Man likes a long stint on his initial tyres. We know that he likes to have a tyre delta for the final stint of the race. We've seen it many times in Perval sector, and I would have thought we'd probably be seeing a similar story here tonight at the Misfits League. Here they come then through Blanchimont once again down towards the bus stop. So Bad Man's coming in. He is coming in this time. Sedders is also coming in, so neither of them gaining any advantage in the pit stops. Bad Man definitely got to get a better entry to the pits there. Has gained a few tenths there on Sedders as they pull into their boxes now. So that releases Icon Constipated into the lead for the time being. Obviously still yet to pit. John also still yet to pit. We'll move through here up into P2. And there are the 2 former leaders here of this race. So John there moving up into second place. Icon Constipated currently the leader of the race. And Bad Man and Sedders will be looking to try and clear John as quickly as they possibly can here, because obviously they got Icon Constipated up the road. But Sedders still right there with Bad Man. I think Sedders might be sensing a chance here, because now that Bad Man's got John to have to clear, and he's only on 7 lap pressure hard tyres now. Obviously that's a big delta, but hard tyres don't wear very quickly, so it's not going to be an enormous advantage. It's certainly going to be an advantage, probably of about a second, I would say. but he's not going to be driving past him like he's on a Sunday drive. But Batman could struggle a little bit here to try and get past the Williams. And obviously John could really play an absolute corker here for his teammate, who's waiting right behind the Aston Martin here. Sedda's had to lift there to avoid getting a penalty because he ran wide there, did some track limits. And obviously if you keep your foot in when you're doing track limits, you get a penalty or at least a warning. So Sedda's there just had to be careful of that one. So you've got LSC James now pulling up onto the back of them in this four-way fight here for second place. LSC James managed to get a good undercut actually on Batman. So this is now very much back into that battle there for what's the net lead of the race. Mighty Hammers has retired from the session, and we have got a safety car. So that is going to benefit I Constipated a little bit. John as well. Now where is I Constipated going to come out in all this? Probably P5 I reckon. Maybe P4 actually, because John probably needs to pit as well. So I Constipated, in fact no, I Constipated already gone past the pits. So misses out on the opportunity there to do anything about it. But John into the pits here. Who else is coming in? Doesn't look like anybody else is coming in. Obviously they've all come in pretty recently apart from John. And I Constipated was already past the point where he could bring it into the pits. So no roll of the dice there for him. But lap 9 of 22 here for the Belgian Grand Prix here at the Misfits Formula 1 League. And I Constipated currently has the advantage at the moment. Jesus, I think we're going, aren't we? Oh, fuck. Back on the way here for the Misfits F1 League, everybody. We've got Bad Man leading the race ahead of Sedders. These two still joined at the hip here out the front. Obviously most of the guys now come in and made a pit stop. We see I Constipated there coming in right at the end of the safety car, so clearly it had some kind of damage there on that last lap under the safety car, which has led him to have to come in. Not quite sure what exactly was the issue there, but in the meantime, Bad Man has got the gap just about a second here over Sedders, so Sedders still keeping him on his toes at this moment in time. We've seen these two running pretty close throughout the first stint. Let's see what their pace is like on the hard tyres, as Sedders got a similar pace on the hards to what we saw on the soft tyres a few moments ago. LFC James, they're running in the final podium place here. K-Kart's just about within a second at the moment. And John a couple of seconds back. Dazza seemingly just not on it tonight, not got the pace. We saw some sensational pace here from Dazza, Hungary, on just 3 nights ago, but that feels like it was 3 years ago on tonight's evidence. But in the meantime, it's Bad Man who still leads here, coming into last source here on lap 12 of this 22-lap race. K-Kart's here pretty close on the back of LSC James, and get a good run here up through Eau Rouge and Radion. We could be seeing a move here into Lacombe. K-Karts is very, very close here. As here we go then, up Eau Rouge. This is surely going to be a change of third place here, as K-Karts are getting closer. The Red Bull is closing. Pulls to the inside there for Ferrari, and K-Karts there makes the move there up into third place, into Lacombe. Although K-Karts is coming under pressure here, LSC James is trying to keep it around the outside, and has done that absolutely brilliantly there, and has kept it all the way around. LFC James maintaining third place there with a great bit of gritty defensive driving, and LSC James for the time being still in third place. I thought K-Karts had that one done there going into Lacombe, but not to be. LFC James had other ideas in that one. Bad Man's gap to Sedders staying at just around a second at the moment, but Sedders here has picked up a 3-second penalty from the stewards here tonight, which is going to put him on the back foot psychologically here, because we know that Bad Man is one of the drivers who very rarely gets penalties. He's a super disciplined driver, so it's going to be extremely difficult now, I think, for Sedders to have any chance of taking the win here tonight. It certainly need a bit of luck, I think, to intervene in this one. Dazza's got a 3-second penalty now as well, so more than just one driver picking up penalties here at this point in the race. John putting Dazza under significant pressure here as they come down the start-finish straight. John had a little look to the inside, thought about it. Oh my goodness me, runs into the back of Dazza there. Dazza seemed like he was labouring around in the braking zone a little bit there. I think was coasting into the braking zone, maybe braked a bit earlier than what I think he needed to. John there running the gears pretty long there as they come through Radion and down the Camel Straight here. He's going to make this move here as John, in the meantime, K-Karts has got ahead of LSC James up into third place. So those two have gone at it once again. This time K-Karts has made that move stick as well, but John has made that move now on Dazza. He's up into fifth place, so 2 moves there in a space of a couple of 100 metres. but K-Karts this time makes it stick. So LFC James not able to go with that immediate reply, but if he can stay close here over the course of this lap, he might be able to do the same thing that K-Karts just did to him down into Lacombe once again. So this battle could be far from over. Badman's got the gap 2 seconds now over Setters. It's looking more and more likely here that Badman is going to win this race. Seems to be setting into a really good rhythm at this point. Badman there's just on the fast lap of the race there, 1:47.1. It's over 2 seconds clear of his rival for this race win, Setters. He's obviously sporting that 3-second penalty. We've got LFC James here pretty close on K-Karts. So obviously K-Karts made the move down the Kemmel Straight on the previous lap. Now it looks like LFC James is pretty determined to return that favour here, as he's losing a little bit of time there through that part of the track, which could make it a bit difficult. Now we'll have DRS to try and get that a little bit closer. But yeah, just a bit too far back due to that run, which wasn't the greatest there going through Eau Rouge. And K-Karts is going to hold on to that one for now. Badman's keeping a gap at around 2 seconds. Sellers seems to have responded a little bit. Gap's not absolutely skyrocketing now. It's continuing to stay around the same. Sellers might have just gained a little bit through the first sector on this particular lap. So battle for the win could be far from over yet. LFC James is still giving K-Karts something to worry about here in this fight for third place. John has still got Dazza on the back of him in the fight for fifth as well, so we'll have to come to that in a bit. So here we come then, third and fourth places here. Into the final sector once again. LFC James looking to the outside here, coming down towards the bus stop. Now, this is the part of the track where you don't really want to make a move because of the fact that if you overtake going into La Source, you'll be giving away the DRS down the Kemmel Straight. If LFC James is smart about this, then we'd stay behind here going into turn one and then try and make the move down the Kemmel Straight with the DRS, as their K-Karts goes very deep there into La Source. That's going to give LFC James a good opportunity to stay close here with a bit of tow. A bit of lag there as well to throw into the mix, but this should be a good chance here for the Ferrari to make the move on the Red Bull. As here we go then, slipstream and DRS in a moment as well. Here we go, the Ferrari to the inside, and this should be a routine pass here, and LFC James moves back up into the podium places with a nice move there up the inside. John has got Daz looking to his inside as well here, and that's two Ferraris making two moves for third and fifth places respectively, and LFC James and Dazza into third and fifth places respectively with that one. This Badman's still got the gap over 2 seconds over Setters at this point. Gap is gradually increasing at the front. Badman's just got a little edge in pace over Setters and has got a bit more consistency as well, and when you've got those two factors, it doesn't matter if you're closely matched, there's just not going to be an opportunity for the trailing driver in that situation. If you're quicker and more consistent, then it doesn't matter how close you are, it's just impossible. But K-Karts at the moment are still keeping LFC James on his toes at the moment. These two coming into the final part of the lap here on lap 15 of this 22 lap race here for the Belgian Grand Prix at the Misfits Formula 1 League. K-Karts here staying very, very close here to LFC James. We know K-Karts got very good straight line speed and also seems to be pretty good out of that source as well onto the power. So I don't think LFC James is going to have much of a defence here. Here they come then into La Source once again here, lap 16. Here you see the acceleration that K-Karts Red Bull has got is absolutely bonkers. Here they come through Radion. And down they come straight, and this is going to be an easy move once again here for K-Karts. It's like a chopping and changing here between these two at the moment. K-Karts back up into third place on the inside there into Lacombe. And makes that move pretty easily there. LFC James can be looking to try and make that move again. I mean, these two, they've just been going at it now for a number of laps, and it seems like they're pretty evenly matched, to be fair. They're on the same age tyres. They keep overtaking each other in the same part of the track. It's clear that neither is significantly faster than the other. Obviously with DRS, it aids drivers who are close in terms of overall pace being able to just slingshot each other lap after lap after lap. And that's the good part of DRS. It makes it a bit easier if you've got the pace, or if you've got similar pace. You're going to see two evenly matched drivers having a great battle. But it does get a tad repetitive after a little while, it has to be said. But nonetheless, they're coming down towards the bus stop once again here, as LFC James is now going to get a bit more DRS once again here down the start finish straight. And once again, he's probably not going to make the move, I wouldn't have thought. Look, now looks to the outside, saying that. Oh, are we seeing a bit of a tactical game here from K-Karts? I think we might be. LFC James has made the move around the outside. Now that could potentially give K-Karts the DRS. Or did LFC James time that nicely? I'm not sure. We'll have to see in a second. Who's going to have the DRS here? Is either of them going to have the DRS? K-Karts is going to have the DRS. And it's now going to make that move. So, do you know what? Fair play to LFC James. Didn't play games there, didn't mess about. Just made the move around the outside and ultimately paid the price for it. Sometimes if the driver is letting you go past before the DRS detection point, you can catch them out, put the power down and just absolutely disappear and get yourself out of the range where they can overtake you. But looks like K-Karts judged that one very well, but he's not always going to judge it that well. That's the thing. If he keeps on playing that game, that handover of the DRS, then it's not always going to work out. It's a risky tactic to play. But this so far has worked out for him. Bad Band's gap to Sed is now 3.5 seconds, so he is just gradually eking out the gap by a few tenths a lap. Nothing major. He's not absolutely blitzing him, but he's certainly got the pace over Sedis tonight. Bad Man pretty comfortable out the front, obviously without a penalty, unlike his fellow driver here, Sedis, who just does the fastest lap of the race there, 1:46.5. The gap 3.5 seconds obviously at the moment. Is that fastest lap going to mean anything in the final couple of laps of the race? Could well be. I mean, we've seen no Bad Man has traditionally been quite hard on his tyres. We saw it at Hungary actually on Thursday night when he was battling with Dazza. It was towards the end of the race we saw Dazza really putting in a shift and closing in on Bad Man. So if Bad Man's got one weakness, and I mean he hasn't got many of them, that's got to be said, but there is one thing that maybe Bad Man does struggle with potentially. Tyres could be the one, and this could play into Sedda's hands a little bit here. Albeit Sedda's, we've got to remind ourselves, does have that penalty, which is going to definitely, well, it's almost certainly going to bite him here tonight. One way or the other. I mean, if he doesn't get in the battle, he's not going to win the race. If he does get in the battle for the win, it's more than likely the penalty will be his undoing anyway, so it's one of those things. But at the moment, K-Karts and LFC James still fighting out over third and fourth places. The gap down to 3.0 between Bad Man and Sedda's. Sedda's has gained about half a second a lap just on this lap. LFC James still well within the catchment here of a DRS. And we'll get a bit of an advantage here through this final part of the lap. Albeit LFC James it's got that better straight line speed. We've seen that over the last few laps, and now that's really paying dividends here through this high speed section, and he's just nowhere to be seen. K-Karts is absolutely pissed off there, going through that final sector, and is now over a second ahead of LFC James. Although the gap just keeping under a second there through the final corner, although not enough to get DRS here. There is a separate detection point for the second one though, down the Camel Straight, which could be exactly what LFC James needs here. I think we've seen well, actually not a massive amount of DRS deployment by the looks of it. But LFC James will get DRS here down the straight. Up through Al Rouge we go. So uses the DRS to just get that a little bit closer here to the Red Bull once again. A gap at the front, back up to 3.3, so Badman has responded to the pressure from Sedders a little bit here, has gone, alright mate, I can see you got the pace, but you're going to have to step it up a little bit more if you want to have a chance of winning here tonight, buddy. With just 3.5 laps left to go here, we're going to see a few more battles here between K-Karts and LFC James. These two have been swapping almost every lap it seems, or the last couple of laps K-Karts has held on to third place, but has LFC James just been waiting for a chance to pounce, so he's saving a little bit of battery, maybe saving a bit of his own mental energy. So here we are then, coming through the final part of the lap here on lap 19 of this Belgian Grand Prix here for the Misfits Formula 1 League. LFC James still sticking pretty close to the Red Bull at the moment. Gap at the front's gone up to almost 4 seconds now between Badman and Sedders. So, as LFC James missed his braking point there completely and almost ran into the back there of K-Karts, and that could spell the end of that battle there for third place, because well, K-Karts has now almost got a 2-second gap here over the Ferrari, so I reckon that might be battled over unless LFC James puts in a shift in these next couple of laps and gets back in DRS range. You need that half a second a lap in pure pace over him to have any chance of reeling that in. I reckon that third place might have just got beyond LFC James with that audacious move there into the bus stop. There we go then, Badman coming through Blanchimont here at the end of lap 20. Just 2 laps left to go here for the Belgian Grand Prix here at Spa-Francorchamps. So the gap now just come down a little bit again on that previous lap. Badman about a second off of his personal best. Didn't quite catch what Sedders' lap time was compared to his previous best. But the gap's staying at about 3 seconds. K-Karts is gap to LFC James. It's down to 1.2. My goodness, LFC James has done brilliantly over the course of that lap. Has gained about 6/10 on the Red Bull there. So this could be game on. Obviously, next lap will be the last lap. So if LFC James can get back within DRS, maybe gain about half a second, we could be seeing a heck of a race on the final lap of the race between these two for the podium places. Gap at the front. Just staying around the same through the first sector between Badman and Sedders. I think Badman should have this one sewn up, barring any major catastrophes in the final 2 laps of the race. K-Karts has just extended the gap over LFC James a little bit through the first sector here. But it's ebbing and flowing, and obviously horses for courses, certain cars will be set up for certain parts of the track more than others. As we approach the closing stages, looking very much like Badman is going to be taking yet another win here on this F1 25 game. A driver who's very, very used to this feeling by now. And I haven't had a chance to check the championship standings for Misfits so far this season, but I'd be very surprised if he's not leading it. Although saying that, he has missed a race, didn't he? He wasn't here for the first round. So actually, you know what? Could eat my words there. But he's a driver who does like a win or two, doesn't he? As he starts the final lap of the race here, 3.5 seconds clear of Sedders, who comes into La Source here to start his final lap of the race. As LFC James is now back within a second here. But did he make a mistake there? He did again. That same part of the track. LFC James just getting a little bit hot-headed there through the same part of the track. Mistakes have not been learned from as they go into La Source. Now, can he stay close? Can he gain a bit of time here through this part of the track? I think this is going to be the last real opportunity to make a move here. LFC James is still within a second, but is, I think, a bit too far back here to really put K-Karts under any real pressure here as they come down the Kemmel Straight. Get DRS, that'll get a little bit closer, but I think that's going to be the last opportunity gone there for LFC James in that battle for the podium places. Race leader's got half a lap left to go. It's just coming down towards Pouin here for the final time. There is our second place driver there, Sedders, who's kept Badman very much on his toes here tonight. It's not been all one way. It's certainly been a fight which could have gone a different way if a few circumstances maybe transpired in a different way, but Badman doing what he does best here tonight, not putting a foot wrong and making sure every box is ticked. The quickest driver in this Misfits League on the basis of qualifying and on pure pace, and clearly over the course of a Grand Prix as well. The consistency certainly not found wanting here. Is coming through the final corners here. Blanchimont in this Belgian Grand Prix here for the Misfits Formula 1 League, round 4 of his 12-round season here for season 1. And here he comes then, the purple sector F1 championship leader, and probably the Misfits leader, I'm not quite sure, but he comes up towards the line and takes the checkered flag here tonight at the Misfits F1 League. It's Badman with the win ahead of Sedders, who gets the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. Unfortunately, it came a bit too late there for him. K-Karts will be next over the line in a moment to take home the final podium place. Holds on ahead of LFC James, who had a penalty nonetheless, so would have taken P4 anyway. Then we've got Dazza in the other Ferrari here coming over the line in P5. Didn't have the pace tonight, did Dazza, as of what we've seen over recent times. Almost 30 seconds off for the lead in the end. Constipated comes over in P6, and John will be the last driver to finish the race as he's just coming through the bus stop now. So John will finish the race in P7 here tonight. And that is that then for the race. But well done to Madman on taking yet another win here. And this man is on fire. He has done a fantastic job over the course of this week in the races that I've commentated on. He seems to be almost unstoppable at the moment, I tell you. He is he's absolutely on form. But that is that then for the Misfits F1 League. Thanks to all the drivers. Thanks to Misfits League for having me. And fingers crossed we have a few more of the drivers turning up, guys. You know, obviously 8 drivers is well, we had good action, but please guys, come on. But anyway, thanks. It's a good night from me, and we'll see you for the next one.